So we talk about that little more.
Time for your girl, me have time for me get my thing in a king, man.
Rascal.
What's going on? This Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. And I just wanted to go ahead and just give y'all a little nugget right quick. A little precursor of things to come. Now, before I really go in, I do want to salute DHP for pulling the trigger on somebody other than Maxie Hughes. But in the press conference, I'm going to get to the press conference, but this I want to say. I like Jojo Diaz energy. You know, I do buy into what he was saying about the young, hungry lion that's full of testosterone and not quite battle tested. But I just want to go into a couple things that Devin Haney said in the press conference, which was very telling. First, they say what meeting? When I go back to the Boxing Voice, who I listen to on a regular basis, where Bill Haney came on and actually said that there was a meeting and that he did not go because they figured it was going to be a low ball offer. That's the first one. The second one was, he said, when they was talking about Teofimo Lopez, because everybody keeps tying Teofimo Lopez along with Devin Haney, when they're in the same weight class, but they're in two different classes of boxers. And that's my personal opinion. That's why I don't play that race card bullshit that your favorite content creators actually try and sell you. I don't play that shit. So I wanted to say that Devin Haney said, well, why you kissing ass to my promoter? So you have a promoter. You're not really a boss. That ties into the third point. The third point is they said they didn't have a meeting. They said that Teofimo Lopez, he was saying that what's this petition, and you know, he talks in circles and all this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And they said that they cornered Jojo into taking the fight. No. DHP was cornered into taking the fight. You know why? Because up until Tank and Rolly fell out because of Rolly and the legal issues that surrounding Rolly, there was no option for Tank to fight Devin or Jojo. And then the sore losing boxing community was trying to paint a narrative like Tank was poaching. Jojo Diaz, with the resume that he actually has a hint of legacy on him. So anybody that gets in the ring with him, because he shared the ring with Tevin Farmer, he shared the ring with Gary Russell. Anybody that gets in the ring with him up until this point can be attached to legacy because he's battle tested and tried. He beat Tevin Farmer, he lost to Gary Russell, and he's tenured. But we were never going to get a Tank versus Devin. Why? Because Devin hides behind Eddie. And when you listen to what Eddie said, which was my third point, he said, I never heard about a meeting. Bob Arum never came to me about a meeting, because Bob Arum came out and said that there was a meeting, they got stood up, and now you hear Devin coming out talking about Lopez talks in circles and you can't believe him. Either you a boss or you not. And I don't play that race car shit. Like, I talk boxing. All these, your favorite content creator who always want to talk about narratives and paint all these narratives because they have an affiliation, they have an open platform, and where Bill can come in there and start stuttering and telling all his lies. Because I've caught Bill up in so many fucking lies, it don't make no sense. Just like when Devin was talking about he wanted to fight Mikey, and Bill came on the Boxing Voice and said, we never wanted Mikey. Devin talking about wanting to fight Robert Easter, wanting to fight Mikey Garcia. Right after the Linares fight, he came out and said he wanted to fight Tank. So if you a boss, the minute Rolly fell out, then DHP would have been the first ones on the line trying to fight Tank. But no, they want to paint it like Mayweather's holding them back. No. They want to let, what I believe right now is I believe that Mayweather and them, they want to let all these young dudes come up. I mean, with the exception of Lomachenko, because there's no reason why Tank shouldn't be fighting Lomachenko next, other than the Bob Arum situation and the bullshit that's going on between Mayweather and Bob Arum. They want to let these young fighters develop. When you hear from Shakur, oh, that Tank fight is down the line. When you hear about Devin right after the Linares fight, just like he called out somebody going, he called out Loma going into the Linares fight the week of, when the fight was already booked. I do pride him on this interview by keeping it simple, by not making promises like knocking Gamboa and beating Gamboa worse than he's ever been beat before the Gamboa fight and then failing to deliver. I do pride him. It shows a step up in maturity. And I don't hate Devin. But I want to get to the bottom of something. And that's the fact that Eddie said he never found a meeting. Devin came out and said, well, why are you kissing my promoter's ass? So do you have a promoter or are you a free agent? Checkmate. That's what I call it, checkmate. You have a promoter. You've been hiding behind your promoter. And the minute Rolly got caught up in legal issues and they were looking for a fight, Devin should have been the name. And what happened was, it was going to look real bad because rumor had it that they tried to say Tank was going to be poaching by trying to get Jojo. And Jojo said that since he wanted Ryan because he thought it was going to be the easiest one, which makes sense because all these promotion companies are on the same network. So they all trying to do in-house. So he thought Golden Boy versus Golden Boy, Jojo versus Ryan, Princess Rye, Garcia was going to be able to happen. But Ryan has a history of pulling out. Before it was mental health, when God told him that he was going to knock Tank out in the second round. And now it's a hand injury when he's supposed to fight Jojo. But before that, he was supposed to fight Devin. We don't know why. Okay? Devin and Ryan is the best fight that can be made for Devin. However, since Ryan stepped out, Jojo and Devin is the best fight that can be made. Why? Because, like Jojo was saying, he's always fighting these older guys outside of their prime. And Devin also said out of his own mouth that you can't take credit from this victory because he's not outside of his prime. He's not an older guy. He's battle tested. This is the first real test that Devin Haney is going to actually be presented. And all that bullshit, all them checks that he been talking with his mouth, he gonna have to cash in on that. So, when Tank and Rolly fell out, Devin should have been the next in line. But that fight was never going to happen. Why? Because right after the Linares fight, the first person he called out was Tank. And he does this. It's a pattern. And in the boxing fans, y'all are on an 8-month curve when it comes to this bullshit that Devin be selling. This is the first time that I'm actually going to applaud Devin and say, you know what? I salute you. Because you and your father actually cashed in on all that shit y'all was saying. And Jojo said, you know what? You gonna pay me what I was getting paid with Ryan and a little bit extra? I'm gonna come see about you. And they actually took that fight. But it wasn't until the Rolly fight came out and they saw that they were about to lose Jojo that this fight actually came to fruition. So now we got a fight. This is a true 50-50 fight. And in my opinion, it's not going to go the way, Devin is not going to go in there and wash Jojo Diaz. And why do I say that? Because we were getting ready to get a Maxie Hughes out of Devin. That's very well known. We was going to get a Maxie Hughes. That was going to be on the zone because he's a DAZN fighter and Eddie calls the shots. Devin is not a boss. No matter how good it sounds, and this is not hating, but Devin is not a boss. Why? Because everybody was saying, oh, well, how is Jojo and Ryan going to go ahead and make a fight amongst each other? And they both Devin's mandatory, and they're going to just freeze Devin out. And all this bitch ass shit that's going on as far as the narrative that people want to paint. But nobody was painting that narrative talking about black man, when Devin Haney knew full well he already had Gamboa on deck and started negotiating with Gary Russell just to paint a picture like Mr. Gary Russell Jr., the longest reigning champ right now to hold the belt. The boogeyman, the real boogeyman, couldn't get a fight. So you froze out your black man and you said that he was asking for too much. And you jumped in on a beef between Gary Russell Jr. and Mr. Bud, Terrence Bud Crawford. You jumped into it. Then made it all about terms and all this or whatever. And then we heard the same thing about terms. So I'm calling him Devin the Rematch Clause Haney. Because you didn't even fight Linares. And here you got people out here putting more pressure on Tio, who has all the belts beside the one that was emailed to Devin. Because Lomachenko decided to go after Teofimo for all the belts after he knocked out Comey for the last piece. And Devin got emailed his belt. But we put more pressure on Tio to fight Devin for undisputed, when Tio, in all actuality, is undisputed. Devin just got emailed the belt. We put more pressure on Tio to fight Devin than we do for Devin to fight Loma. And here today, you hear Devin say that, why would he fight Loma? Loma don't have no belt. So now, we actually have what I would deem as a true 50-50 fight. But everybody in the comment section, everybody on YouTube gonna paint this narrative like Devin is just gonna go in there and wash Jojo Diaz. I beg to differ. I believe that Jojo is gonna make it a rough, ugly fight. He's not going to allow Devin to shoot that piston-like jab, which I believe that Devin may have the best jab in the 135, but also the veteran in Jojo knows that. I think he's going to hurt Devin to the body. He's going to actually get him in trouble. He's going to make him face adversity. He already knows the blueprint as far as when to clinch because he learned that from Gamboa when Devin actually let that man hold him all night long. And that's why I nicknamed Devin Lionel Ritchie all night long. He let Gamboa hold him all night long after he complained about Gamboa holding him all night long. So after he got hurt in the 10th round by Linares, he held him for the championship rounds and he did not bounce back. He did not show the pedigree of a champion who has a real belt in those championship rounds. So I believe that this fight is a 50-50 fight. I would actually give the edge to Jojo Diaz because I don't play that race card shit. Even though I am high on Devin, I just think that he has too many yes men around him. And just like Deontay Wilder, until he get all them yes men out in his corner and they be truthful about where he needs to go and where he needs to improve and stop always kissing his ass and telling him he's doing everything great and he's the greatest since fucking Sugar Ray Leonard, I believe that he's in for an upset. But he does have the skills. He does have a piston-like jab. He does have the better foot reach. He does have the height. He does have the length. So it's not too far-fetched to say that Devin will actually beat Jojo. However, I believe that all that bullshit that everybody around him is selling him is going to get him in trouble and he's going to overlook Jojo. So my prediction is that Jojo is going to win this fight. It's going to be because of body work. Body work.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
I do what I do. He knows what I'm about to tell him right now. It's Mr. Keep running your mouth. That's what I do.
I just feel like I'm the champ, and at the end of the day, I'm just a fighting motherfucker. It doesn't matter. Inside, outside, I can just fight. So I just feel like if it gets down to the wire, we gotta lock it up. I'm out on top.
Hey, look, as you can see how I'm looking, I stay solid. I'm always solid. I stay fucked solid up, right? You know what I'm saying? To the fans and all that.
Today, y'all outside the ring. In the fighter, like I said before, ain't no safety on the drop, so